Okay, one of the questions that I have that comes up a lot is people that are moving to St. Kitts and Nevis, and they're trying to debate on whether they should get a new car or a used car, or just not even get one. I'll be honest with you. If you're going to be coming on and off the island real quick, I would stay in St. Kitts as long as you can without getting a new car. I wouldn't even advise getting a rent-a-car. The two things I would be doing is I would stay in areas where accessibility is pretty easily done by either walking or getting a taxi. As I mentioned several videos before, what you'll find out is when you get a rent-a-car, a lot of times you don't use the rent-a-car every day, and then you have to pay $60 to $80 a day possibly to have it, and you've been better off just getting a taxi and just using a taxi when you needed it. And as I mentioned on other videos too, you can make deals with taxi drivers, and where they will reduce their fees. I've seen in some cases 50% or more. But you need to work out something where you're using them on a regular basis. That being said, some people don't have to worry about calling somebody and waiting for them if they're late. They want to have their own car. Okay, I'm going to tell you the easiest and cheapest ways to get cars. There's two ways that I think are the best ways to get cars. One is by going to a rent-a-car agency. I'll tell you why. These rent-a-car agencies, not just here in the U.S. too, but you'll find out you'll get some of your best deals with rent-a-car agencies, because the ones that have been on the island, they've been passed around to a lot of the students that, a lot of them don't take care of the car, and they usually have a lot of work that needs to be done. A lot of vet students, medical students will have a car for a short period because they only here for a short period of time, and then they want to sell it real quick. A lot of times those cars have been, kind of banged up and stuff. If you go with a rent-a-car and then get it checked out, a lot of rent-a-cars get beat up too. But if you get them and they're not, too old, I think you ought to be getting a car at least 2 years old. In fact, I like getting cars 8 to 10 years old because they drop about 80% in price. In fact, I've never had a car that's a used car that when I resold it, I didn't get more than what I paid for it. You will never get that with a new car or anywhere close to being new. Okay, so and one of the countries or companies that I would go to if you're beginning a purchasing a car is a company called JapaneseVehicles.com. They're out of Japan. A guy told me about it when I first came here. If you're going to get a car from them, you need to get it. They have different levels, and 5 is a car that has literally it's spotless. Okay. There's not that much difference between a level 4 and 5. In fact, you might not even notice the difference, but you don't want to go to a 3. Okay, that's when they really start. You can tell the difference. There's things maybe wrong inside, a smudge spot or whatever. But every car I've gotten that's been a 4 or above, I've always gotten 4s. I don't get 5s because there's a big difference in the price between 4 and 5. Is I'll stick with a 4 level, and they look flawless. I mean, I get cars in from there, and the price I'm getting ready to tell you, you won't believe me, okay? Just to tell you how Japan works. The Japanese people, they've got a law there. It's not based on mileage, but it's based on the time that you've had the car. They've got some sort of, I don't know if it's an environmental type thing or what, but you can only have a car for a certain period of time, and then you got to ditch it. You got to sell it, okay? And the cars sell for pretty cheap when they get rid of them. You can literally buy a car. I bought one, no joke. I mean, this car had 18,000 miles on it. That's like new. Some people don't even, after 1 year, they put 18,000 miles on it. Bought it for $400. This is how cheap they are, okay? But let me finish. By the time you bring it into St. Kitts, that car is around $6,900 US, the minimum, okay? You won't get it any under $6,900 by the time you bring it in, because you got the cost of the car, and if it's over 2 years old, you got a 2,000 environmental duty, and then the car jumps up 80%, and that's on top of the freight going from Japan to Miami and then back to St. Kitts. Okay, so when you pick up a car for $400, then you're looking at $6,900. If you buy one for $2,000 there, okay, $2,000 from the reseller in Japan, that car is going to be way up. Okay, and I'm telling you, the easiest ways to get them, you can resell them later, 2 years later, and literally make a profit on them, okay? As long as you keep them in good shape. But, so the rent-a-car is a good place to go. And they have to get rid of cars every so often once they get high mileage or close to maybe 2 or 3 years old that they've had them. And they'll sell them at steep discounts, okay, because they have to get rid of the car. So that's one way you can do it. Just get it checked out. Never had a problem with JapaneseVehicles.com. I've ordered maybe 3 or 4 cars from them. They've always been really good deals. And I've always found out, for some reason, ordering them for the women that work there, I've had usually better luck. I mean, I've never had one that had a disaster with any of them, but I remember ordering from the women. For some reason, the females, they're more honest and stuff. But I'll be honest with you, that company is very, very good at picking up cars because they won't repeat buyers. They're not like a lot of these used car salesmen that they don't care if they never see you again. They get a lot of repeat business, okay? And in fact, they'll bombard you with emails after you get a car from them. Also, folks, if you want to legally get your income taxes to zero, how to get a second passport as quick as 45 days, do 3 things. Hit the subscribe button at the right of your screen right here, and you get new videos automatically as they come out. And number 2 is I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below. Number 3 is go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and just ask for some help if you want to get your taxes to zero or a quick passport. Now, like I said before, I paid $400 US for the car, approximately $6,900 by the time I brought it in. And, it was like a new car. I mean, literally, it was spotless inside and out. And the car was, believe it or not, about 10 years old. Now, what you'll find out, like I said, Japanese not only have to get rid of the car fairly quick, it literally gets bought by these resellers. But what happens is they're very particular people on keeping. They're very clean people. They keep the cars up really nice. I mean, immaculate. And what you'll find out too is a lot of them take the metro, even if they have a car in Japan. So a lot of times they don't even use the car. And so all these cars I get in are like in mint shape, and I'm thinking, gee whiz, for $400. Of course, by the time you bring it over with the environmental duty, you got a huge VAT, and duties here in St. Kitts is 80% approximately. And then you're looking at the cost of the transportation, the freight and everything going from Japan to the U.S. and then back to St. Kitts. So you will pay quite a bit from that, but then you got a car at $6,900 that you paid for, and it only has 18,000 miles on it. That's pretty damn good. I don't think you can do that much better than that in the U.S. But this is the way I would be looking at if you're going to be doing this. Folks, don't bring Mercedes and Rolls Royces in here. You're going to end up taking the figure and multiply it, double that figure, okay? And it's going to be hard to resell it because people here will not, you might be foolish, but they're not, okay? People here will not buy things like that because whenever you ship a part in, the part's going to have these high fees. Remember, St. Kitts doesn't have an income tax, no capital gains tax, no estate or inheritance tax, and almost no property tax. It's pretty close to zero. They got to make it up from somewhere. They get it from environmental, from duties of bringing in goods and things like this, and then VAT from services rendered and things like this. So they've got to make it up somewhere else. And I like their tax system here a lot better than I do in the U.S. and other places like Canada. But you're going to have to get used to things. When you get car parts and motorcycle parts, things like this, there is a duty on that. Now, I will tell you something, ways that you can avoid the duty. You need to look at my other tapes on that. Bring things in Christmas time. Okay, December and usually January is exempt from duties up to certain limits. Okay, so if you need something, just make a list of it and then wait until December comes along, and they usually extend it over in January, and you can avoid the duty up to a certain limit if you do that. Okay, so this is one way you can get these parts free of duty, and not just the car parts, but a lot of other things too that you bring in. If you want to avoid the duty, bring it in December or January. And you probably should order it in around the second week of November if you're doing it from Amazon because of the shipping time and all of this, okay? Now, the cars you should stick with, I would stick with Nissans, Hondas, Toyotas, Hyundais. Why? Because I'm going to tell you something, Petitions like to buy things that are on the lower end, okay? That's good with gas. If you want to resell it and make money on it and have good dependable cars, I'm telling you, this is the way to do it. Don't bring in the big sedans. You'll be stuck with them, okay? It'll be very difficult to resell them. And you're crazy and double crazy to bring in Rolls Royces and Mercedes, okay? If you do that, you're going to end up losing your ass when you try to resell it. If you don't mind losing your ass, then bring them in, okay? But I'm telling you, don't be bringing in luxury cars like Lexus and Porsches and things like this. That's just double stupid. I can always tell someone that's new to St. Kitts because I'll see a Porsche out there and think this guy's going to be really pissed off with himself for bringing that in. He must not have done too much homework before he brought that car in, or he doesn't mind throwing a lot of money down a rat hole, because that's what's going to happen when you bring in cars like that. Also, if you want to really lower your chances of using a car, you should be living in places like Basseterre, which is the main city downtown, or be living in Frigate Bay. These are your two best places because you literally can get almost everywhere that you want to go without not even having a car, okay? There's a lot of things already in Frigate Bay, but even if you have to go to downtown to Basseterre, which is the main hub of the whole St. Kitts and Nevis, you can find anything that you want there, no problems. They got building supply, 3 big building supply places, 3 big major grocery stores, multiple different units of these grocery stores throughout the city of Basseterre. Basseterre is a very small small city. You can go and park your car downtown and literally go 6 blocks and you hit the whole city, okay? So you really don't need a car if you don't mind walking 3 miles to Basseterre as exercise and then walking back, okay? If you don't like that, then get a car, okay? Or you can get a taxi or rent a car, but like I said, what I would be doing first of all is either I would be getting maybe a taxi driver, working out a deal with him before you buy a new car. And I would stay away from rent-a-cars. Rent-a-car agencies probably don't like me for saying this, but you know, I've looked at it very closely, and I found out you will do better and if you don't get rent-a-cars, okay? And you got to pay for gas. You got to pay for, you know, if you have a wreck in there. If you go with a taxi too, they know the way around town. The gas is included in the cost. You don't have to worry about flat tires and crap like that. If you have a flat tire, if there's a problem, the taxi driver takes care of it. You just work out your deal with the taxi driver, and I'm telling you, you can work out some really good deals with taxi drivers. But when you work out deals with them, use them a lot, okay? This is what encourages them to want to continue to do business with you at a reasonable cost, okay? And this is, and the guy will become a friend, and he can tell you a lot of things that you normally can save you a lot of time and money too. They're very good in telling you how to get around town and the best places maybe to go for eating. And I think it's the best way to do that. But there are some people that are going to want to get a car. If you're going to get a car, this is the way to do it. If you stick to these principles, I think you will make sure that you know that you'll cover your grounds and be glad on what I'm telling you here. Also, folks, if you want to, again, legally get your income taxes to zero, how to get a second passport as quick as 45 days, do 3 things. Hit the subscribe button at the right of your screen right here, and you'll get new videos automatically as they come out. And I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below. And again, if you want to get your taxes to zero, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and ask for some help. And I look forward to talking to you in the next video. Take care.